In the recent Andor trailer, we saw him steal what looks like a TIE fighter prototype, and it appears Cassian wastes no time putting it to good use rescuing Bix. Now, unless you're really old like me, you might not have known that this heavily armed TIE fighter isn't a new design at all. It's actually a really old one. It's always great to see when Star Wars creators are prepared to dive back into old Legends material and give us some of those iconic designs we grew up with. In my previous video, I showed that they've been diving into sources like this old Imperial sourcebook role-playing game from the late 80s and early 90s. But at this time it looks like they may have gone from the tabletop to video games for the inspiration for this one. This ship looks to be the TIE Avenger originally seen in the old TIE Fighter video game. This was one of many great games that kept Star Wars alive through that period when there was no live action at all. These days we're awash with new shows and games, and it seems like everyone has a new variant or a new type of TIE fighter. In Rogue One alone we got two, with the TIE Striker and the TIE Reaper. As much as I love these new designs, it's great to see them go back and pull some of these classic designs from Legends. And it's not the first time they've dived into this game to bring us a classic design. The Star Wars Rebels animated series made the TIE Defender a focal part of a number of storylines. If you haven't seen Star Wars Rebels, by the way, I'd highly recommend giving it a watch, and there's lots of tie-ins to both Andor and Rogue One. So what do we know about this TIE Avenger? Well, it's somewhat of a cross between the TIE Interceptor and Darth Vader's TIE Advanced from Episode 4. And much like Darth Vader's TIE Advanced, it's said to have a hyperdrive, shielding, life support, and a vast array of some very interesting weapons. And possibly one very unique special weapon. But we'll get to that in a second. First of all, let's start off with the blasters. This clip, it appears to be firing its blasters from the lower end of the pod, as is usual. But I'd also expect there to be quad blaster cannons mounted on the wings. Also mounted on the wings, we can see what looks like these add-on rocket pods. We see Cassian fire one of these rockets to great effect, destroying this transport. Somewhat strangely, it seems to have these pods on both the lower sides of the wings, but only on one of the upper sides. I wonder if that's meant to indicate they were still assembling this as a prototype. Now, in the video game, this ship was equipped with a small tractor beam emitter. These tractor beam emitters were designed to hold enemy fighters in front of the ship, giving you a chance to fire your blasters or to fire whatever missile ammunition you had into the enemy without needing to wait to lock on. In this behind the scenes picture, we can see this amazing set piece they built for this fighter. I think it's amazing they actually physically build these things rather than just doing them CG. And I think it really gives a sense of scale of just how big this fighter is. You can see some of the advanced controls in there, you can see just how much space the pilot has. And to the right of Andor you can see two of these four devices that sit either side of the cockpit. Not sure if these are going to be launchers for perhaps concussion missiles or proton torpedoes, or perhaps they're part of the tractor beam system. And one final thought, when we see Andor, he's flying over these wheat fields. And I couldn't help but make the connection with the story from Rebels, where they steal the TIE Defender from the Imperial airfield on Lothal, which does look very similar to this planet we see in Andor. Now, this might just be coincidence, and I'm guessing the planet in Andor won't be Lothal, but the similarity between the two things I think was worth pointing out for you. So it's over to you. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the upcoming season of Andor. Don't forget to help me out by smashing the like button before you go. If you like this video, you'll probably like my others. I'll leave a link to them at the end of this so you can watch those next. So I hope to see you there, but until then, many thanks for watching and know that you are very much appreciated.